everyone, welcome back to Realpolitik. Today is May the 16th, 2023, and we're going to be talking about the latest developments in Ukraine. But before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe, help the channel grow, and let's get right into it. So, in the north of Ukraine, by the city of Kupiansk, the Russians have taken some territory. The Russians, according to some reports, they crossed the Oskil River. They liberated or conquered, depends how you look at it, the settlement of Masitivka. So this is a small settlement, obviously, but it remains to be seen whether the Russians are activating their units on this front line and making their way towards Kupiansk, which is only 8 kilometers away, or 8 kilometers, or this could just be a limited operation. We're just going to have to keep watching, but I will keep you updated. Now, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, if you've been keeping up to date with the latest events in Ukraine, a few days ago, 3-4 days ago, in the cities of Ternopil and Khmelnytsky in western Ukraine, Russia used several Shahed 136 or Geron 2 kamikaze drones, and they struck several targets in both of these cities. Now, for those who haven't seen the footage, I will show you the footage of the biggest mushroom cloud. There were several, but this is the biggest mushroom cloud in Khmelnytsky. And I'll read this for you according to, okay. Anyways, one second. According to information, the value of ammunition destroyed in the Khmelnytsky ammunition depot is about $500 million. All right, so let's take a look at this video. And just look at the size of the buildings in comparison to this explosion. And that's not it. There's going to be another explosion. Wait for it. Oh, that's just... And this was one of several massive explosions leading to mushroom clouds in those two cities, Ternopil and Khmelnytsky. Now, ever since this happened, there have been rumors that a lot of the depleted uranium, the depleted uranium shells that have been given to Ukraine by the UK were part of this shipment, and that has led to an increase in the level of radiation. All right, now Ukrainians are denying this. They're saying it's just a rumor, blah blah blah. But we can look at this right here, and you can see how the levels of radiation have increased during the last, ever since the bombing, right? You can just see it. And if we go, if we want to see for ourselves, here it is. This is actually the before and after of that explosion. This is before, this is after, right? Before, after. All right, so go to this site ourselves, Khmelnytsky, and you can see on the right, the radiation levels have increased. Now, these radiation levels are still safe. They're not like fatal for humans, but another issue is that there are winds right now blowing in a westerly, northwesterly direction towards Europe and Poland. So, yeah, I mean, that's just that wouldn't be a good thing if the radiation levels continue to increase and the winds blow the radiation westwards. Now, I'm not an expert on this topic, but that can't be a good thing. Anyways, so elsewhere in Ukraine, in Luhansk, in the city of Luhansk, for the 4th day in a row, the Ukrainians have used the Storm Shadow missiles. These are stealth cruise missiles supplied to Ukraine by the UK. And for 4 days, the Ukrainians have been hitting the city of Luhansk with these missiles. Today, they hit the city of Luhansk again, and the interior minister of Luhansk, Igor Kornet, has been injured as a result of one of these strikes. So when it comes to the HIMARS, the Russians have figured out, they have adapted to the HIMARS. They've been able to jam the HIMARS rockets. This was reported in the Western media as well. And if you remember the Bayraktar TB2 Turkish drones, the Russians have adapted to those. So considering all that, it might be only a matter of time before the Russians also adapt to these Shadow Storm missiles. Now, the thing is, these have a range of 300 kilometers, so it is definitely an escalation on the part of the West. And Zelensky recently, he's visited Italy and Germany, and he's returned to Ukraine, and he's stated that he's trying to get F-16s from the West. Now, of course, training pilots for F-16s, it takes several years usually, but as with everything, the Ukrainians are probably going to want to do a crash course when it comes to those planes. And that would be a major, major escalation. But those planes, I mean, they're pretty expensive. And another thing to keep in mind with the Shadow Storm missiles, Ukraine doesn't have that many jets in its inventory, right? And oftentimes, more often than not, a lot of Ukraine's jets are shot down. And of course, recently, two Russian jets in the Bryansk region were shot down, and two helicopters in a carefully choreographed Ukrainian operation using manpads. And who knows? Some people say it was all with manpads. Some people say it was with manpads and air defense missiles. Some people say a modified MiG-29 launched a air-to-air missile. But anyways, the Ukrainians don't have, in general, Ukrainian jets get shot down pretty often. Sometimes they get destroyed while on the ground. And so that's why Zelensky wants F-16s. Anyways, in Kiev, there was another, that's Kharkiv. In Kiev, there was the Russians launched another massive air attack, missile and drone strikes on Kiev last night, and the Ukrainians are making some big claims. The Ukrainians are stating that they shot down 6 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, 9 Caliber cruise missiles, 3 Iskanders, and something like 9 drones, including Shaheds and others. Now, in regards to that, I'm going to show you some footage. This is footage of the Patriot air defense system, basically from last night. I'm going to read this for you. I counted 30 Patriot PAC-3 launches here. The cost per missile is about $5 million. That was $158 million fired in 2 minutes. And as we see, the battery or something else likely got blown up. So it failed in its mission. Maybe not. Maybe the missile shot down what they intended to, but let's just take a look. So there must be a massive barrage coming towards the vicinity for the Patriot to be just launching everything it has into the air, right? $150 million. Wow. You know, even if all of the Russian missiles and drones were shot down, um, this would be, I mean, $150 million, $150 million, right? I mean, and some of these were Shawhead drones, right? So they cost like 20,000, right? Now, as for the Kinzhals, um, I don't know. I think you have to, I wouldn't hold my breath um, in regards to claims about Kinzhals being shot down. You never know, it might be, but The issue is that the Ukrainians have already their previous claim a few days ago about shooting down a Kinzhal. It's been debunked. I basically, in one of my previous videos, I showed all the evidence. I'll show you again for those who haven't seen it. But yeah, the Kinzhal wasn't shot down. It was a different kind of missile. Huh, it looks like one of the missiles or two of them just fell down. See right there? Looks like they just went here and fell down. That's strange. Um, so what's going on? That was a lot of missiles. Now it's showing another view. Oh, it looks like something's on fire. Oh, something blew up. Either a missile made it through and hit something, or I don't know, something looks like it blew up. Was it the Patriot that blew up? Are they talking about this area right here? Because that's been there the whole time. I might have been, you know what? The Russians are actually, I forgot to say, the Russians are saying they destroyed a Patriot battery. Um, some Russian pundits, pro-Russian analysts, they're waiting for the Russian MOD to put out a statement. And I don't know, this right here, this area on fire might have been a missile that made it through. And the ending might be a missile that made it through. Anyways, um, the Kinzhal was never, that the Ukrainians claimed was never intercepted, because this is what the Ukrainians showed off as the Kinzhal, and I was suspicious right away, right? Just doesn't this these two right here don't look like this, but then we got some more evidence. This is what they claim the Kinzhal is. Now, first of all, you notice in the first picture they don't show the tip. In the second picture, they don't show the tip. It's not there. And just look at the angle of this missile, right? Look at the angle of it. It's completely, the angle doesn't fit, right? This is like a kind of 45-degree angle from the top, and this isn't. And Ukrainians, pro-Ukrainian pundits are saying, well, this is just the warhead. Well, the warhead from bottom to the top is like 45, it's like pretty much a 45-degree angle. This isn't. This is like a slope kind of, right? But there's more. See this? You can really see the angle doesn't fit in any way. And then another thing is Vitaly Klitschko. Okay, first of all, again, he's holding the tip. For whatever reason, he's holding the tip. Okay? And I have it here. A Kinzhal missile has a length of 8 meters or 26 feet. Okay? The warhead itself is 10 feet tall, 10 feet in length. This guy is 6'5". So this guy's 6'5", and the warhead by itself is 10 feet. So above the screen, how could that be? So this is not a Kinzhal. Just that debunks it. But then also another thing, you can see that MiG-31, the Kinzhal mounted on the MiG-31. The MiG-31 is 23 meters or 75 feet. This Kinzhal takes about a third of the length. So yeah, a third, about 24. It's 75 feet, right? The length of the MiG-31, 23 meters or 75 feet. A third of that is about 20 something feet. And yeah, that's 8 meters or 26 feet, right? So that's that. And then look at the size of this guy. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys. Look at this guy next to a Kinzhal missile. Okay, and then look at Vitaly next to a Kinzhal missile, or what he alleges is a Kinzhal missile. Look at this guy. Look at the width of that. Look at this. What the hell? That's even look at the width of the warhead. Look at this guy's foot next to this, and then look at this guy. And imagine his foot. Like there's just no way, right? That's just ridiculous. But, that's what they claimed, right? Um, so anyways, yeah, they're saying that it's actually this missile, the BETA 500. And you know what? What's interesting? Look at the tip of the BET 500. Sorry, BETA 500. Look at the tip; it's flat. And then look how. Oh, no tip. Oh, no tip. Oh, he's covering up the tip. So yeah, it's BS. And then some people tried to cope by saying, well, look at where the holes are here in this picture. Look at where the holes are. And then that BET AB missile, um, the holes are not in the same place, right? Or the clips, right? They're not in the same place, right? So you see this, they're outside these two lines. And then this one, they're inside the two lines. But then the fact that you're pointing to the two lines, I mean, and these are welded on. You could see they're welded on, so they could be put anywhere, right? So I don't know. Yeah, it depends what platform it's mounted on, right? They could be welded on anywhere. And you see this one, the Indian Air Force variant, and then this one. Not exactly the same length. The clips, they're not. Right? Look at this, and then look at this. They're not. They're closer. It depends what platform it's put on. That's obvious. They're welded on, man. Look, you can see it. Anyway, so that was debunked. Anyways, so the Russians are claiming one Patriot was destroyed. What else am I going to talk about? Yeah, in Bakhmut, the Russians are advancing, and this is I'll show you. They're saying that was from yesterday, and now today it looked something like this. So the Russians have given names to all these sectors: Nest, Constructor, Dominoes, Horse. Horse has been taken pretty much. There's Nest, Construction, and Dominoes, and they're saying that the Russians are now on the outskirts of Dominoes, and the Ukrainians control like very little. See this area right here, and this area right here that I've outlined, the longer rectangle and this square. The Russians, that's what they've taken in the last 24 hours. Um, so yeah, basically this is from 2 days ago. So yeah, it just looks like it's just a matter of time. And this is making a lot of people think that the operation that the Ukrainians launched recently, which pushed the Russians away from the road here and um, and this road here, is hard to see, but I'll draw it out. So yeah, those operations were just to push the Russians away. Now, obviously, if the Ukrainians could keep pushing, they would eventually get to this road right here, but they would have to go past Klishivka. Um, Again, I've said this before. The problem is, if we look at Klishivka, see the attack from here and here, right? Going towards Klishivka. The problem is, Klishivka, there's a huge slope here. So the Russians are gradually falling back to the high ground. In the during at the when the Ukrainians launched their little counteroffensive in Bakhmut, a lot of people assumed that this little salient here would just like the Ukrainians would just take it right away, and the Russians would fall back to the outskirts of Klishivka right away. But the Russians are gradually withdrawing, gradually. So they've lasted longer than a lot of people thought, considering that it's just an open terrain. And in the north here, of course, this is there's a river here and two bodies of water. And if the Ukrainians go through here, it's basically a choke point. Also, the Russians have the high ground. So, but if the Ukrainians can make it to this road here, and then this road here, push through those settlements, then they can threaten Bakhmut from the north and south. But that is easier said than done. Also today, there's footage of another Ukrainian ammunition depot across the Dnieper River in Kherson got hit. So let's take a look. So there's that. So the Russians are continuing to soften up Ukrainian positions. And that happened somewhere around here, obviously. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. That is it for today. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.